Good morning and sliding into afternoon. Judy Allen here, San Antonio, Texas. And believe it or not, today's high is only going to be 69 degrees. So whoop whoop, I got to wear long sleeves. Yay. So we'll see how the weather goes. We're under a wind fire advisory though. But anyway, we got cooler weather. We'll see if those leaves change or not. So today, we're going to follow up from last week because this is our last Wednesday, right? Because Friday is Halloween and the last day of October. So the free kit to go with a $35 purchase from my store ends on Friday, right? So I'm going to show you today, we're going to do some quick and easy cards. We always forget about that, right? Seems like we're always getting engaged, ready to do the next thing, right? Or next, maybe it's the popular thing, I don't know. But we forget about the quick and easy. And right, if you got to crank out 100 cards, right? It might feel like you need to do something quick and easy versus all the detailed stuff, right, that you normally do. So we are going to do a detailed shaker card, right, because they're fun. I enjoy shaker cards. I already know who I'm going to give them to. And the other thing is that then we're just going to do some quick and easy. A friend of mine did something the other day, and I thought, you know what, we forget about that. So we're going to do that, all right? So let's go down the hands. We're going to do the quick and easy first, and then we'll do a shaker card. And then I'll show you what's accumulating from all the leftover pieces from the last week and this week to be able to create something else, right? I'm not going to create it, but I'm at least inspire you to think about it. How about that? All right, let's go down the hands and do this, right? It's Wednesday, and it is time. All right, so this is what we created last week. We did an ornament, because I wanted this ornament, and I got it. All right, and then we created this card here. So there you go. All right, so today, what are we going to make today? We're still using the stamp set here, and we are still using the beautiful paper. So if you don't remember, the beautiful paper, and I had buried this also on the inside, is the Elegant Pines Snowflake. So if you want to know how I come up with the colors sometimes, I mean, it already tells us on here some colors that goes good with. It says cherry cobbler, which I used last week, garden green. Haven't used that. Haven't used the old olive or the pretty peacock. Secret Sea and shaded spruce we're going to use today. All right, so it just gives you an idea. Sometimes when we don't know what colors or we want to do, that's just go to the back of the paper itself. We are also using, just FYI, we're using the pine tree ornament dies, and this is what I use to cut through, right? And we did the star last week, and I'm also using this here, which I've used these quite a bit, as you can see. And then we are also using this here. Now this is actually in a hybrid embossing folder, but what I love about it is I've embossed just the words, right? It just gives that little extra touch. So be using this as well too. You can die cut the words out. I didn't. I just showing you what I did and how we did it, going about it. So this here is Secret Sea, and I will tell you the sea just looks just about that color. Day or night, especially if you're out in the middle of the ocean, like we were on the cruise, and it looks just this color, right? Always wonder where it came from, but now we know. All right, so what I've done here is we have taken, this sort of reminds me of stack and shuffle, right? We stack and shuffle, we always seem to think that we have to have 3 pieces of different paper or 4 different paper, whatever you want to do, 4, I guess, depending on which one you're doing. But really, this is the same concept. If you flip this paper over, and I line them up, this is basically a 4 by 5 1/4. And you can see here, I'll line it up here, and you can see here too. Well, I'm not sure that's yeah, there it is. See how that's 4 by 5 1/4? Okay, so what I've done is I've just taken 2 inches off of each one. All right, so technically we can make 2 cards, and we are going to make 2 cards out of it, because this is just was quick and easy. This is just a quick and easy way to get 2 cards done real quick. So if you can do 2 cards real quick, we can do more than 2 cards, right? So all we're going to do is we're going to take these pieces here, and we're going to put them right here like this here. Okay? Now the only thing is I wanted to wrap some ribbon around here, and this is the ribbon we're going to use. I'll show you. And I was thinking about that before we went live, because this is quick and easy. And you can sit there, and we can sit there and just put this right here. Right? And that's what I'm going to do. Now, this ribbon does fray. So I just was thinking about that, is this ribbon phrase. So if that bothered you, then I would sit up there and take, I was going to use this for the inside, but this will work just as well. So if you want to wrap that ribbon around the back, I'm going to do this one like this so we can see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go ahead. Normally I wouldn't do this, but because we have a ribbon that frays, beautiful ribbon, I want to use it. And I could fold it over, but it didn't look too nice, okay? So this is one of those things, don't sweat the small stuff. So that's really small stuff. So I'm just going to come and put that. Normally you don't do this, right? Because this to me, this isn't quick and easy. I'm going to do this because I'm going to have to put this here, and I'm going to put this here. And you can see this would be just as pretty too, right? But I had already decided I want to use this side. And you can see that pretty peacock right in there. It's real pretty. Let's see if we get that across there. But the whole objective of this, right, is finding cardstock, or I shouldn't say cardstock, DSP that you like the front and back of. And then when you do that, then you can just flip it over. Let's see if I get that off. Just flip it over, right? Yeah. It's a good thing this can be hidden. Okay. Flip that back out. Okay. I just want to make sure I get it lined up. It's not going to be lined up perfectly. The ribbon will hide it, right? But I still have to work with it. Okay. Because I want to hide the edges of this ribbon, that's the only reason why I'm doing this. Okay? Because there is no other reason to do this. Most ribbon, we'll do one in a minute, another one I'll show you. But see how it frays? It's beautiful ribbon, but it frays. And I just don't want it to fray between now and us making out envelopes. So see how it gives it a nice edge? It's beautiful ribbon. And we're just going to come over here and I'm just going to use tear and tape to hold it down. And I'm going to do the same thing here. So you can either line it up on the exact edge. This is a pretty thick ribbon, so you have to decide if you want to. I usually come right across the middle, but this is pretty wide, so it just depends on what you want, all right? I'm going to use the tape there, and I'm going to come get another piece of tape here. And we're going to tape it down and trim it off. Okay? Now, as you can see, I can see right now I got a little bit of white over here. And if that really bothers me, then guess what? I would just take my scissors and trim it off. That's all I would do. That's one thing about the snips, right? It'll let you do that. And I'm just going to cut it off. I've used this to wrap around a box. I've used this ribbon. I guess I could use it to sew with, but I'm not. All right, so see how we got this down already, which is fine. Because it's just quick and easy, and we're going to put it down right here. Now, the thing is, if you want that to stay down right there, again, use some tear and tape. I wouldn't use glue. The reason is glue may show through, right? So I'm just going to come in here and tuck this under here and take the paper off. All right, so just don't sweat it, right? It's flexible enough, and then I can come through and I can just flatten it down just like that, all right? Okay, now let's take the other one, because I want to go ahead while we're at it. Let's go ahead and do the other one too. The other one here, I'm just going to put it down, because this is the whole purpose, right? It's to make them quick and easy cards. You just take two pieces and we put them together, just like this here, and it's a done deal, right? Ribbon is really nice to go across it to make that really finish that off. And we can use another ribbon, right? We don't have to use one that frays. I brought along another ribbon that doesn't fray as much. Now, sometimes I fray ribbons, right? I deliberately fray ribbons. And other times I don't. But what I do like about this technique, right, is if you take a DSP and you like both sides, usually you can flip it over just like I did. Let me get that on the straight. You can flip it over just like I did, right? And you just cut 2 inches off of one end. You just have to decide which end you want to see more of than the other. It's going to be one of those kind of days. It's a good thing we only have a couple more days left to the weekend. I don't know what you, but at least I already have all my trick-or-treat packages together for the kids to come by. We put them in an envelope, in a bag. And then, that way we can make sure everybody gets the same amount of candy. So we've already prepped 144 bags. And we usually have about 155. It just depends on the weather, right? With this being a weekend and all, I'm anticipating we're going to have a pretty good bit. Okay, so see how that is right there? Now, if you didn't have ribbon that you wanted to put on this here, right, you could just as easily use cardstock. Let's see how this looks. Now, if we don't like it, right, we can put cardstock. Just solid cardstock. I wouldn't use the same one I just used, but let's see how we like this. And we may not, it's maybe too busy. I really liked my original, I do like this. This isn't bad, right? Just depends what you want. But that isn't what I wanted. I really like this one here. I really like this one. Okay. So, because see how rich it is? Alright. I don't have any fray check with me. But, you know, if you sew, there is fray, it's called fray check. F-R-A-Y. And it's a liquid that you can put on the ends to keep stuff from raveling. Alright, so I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to make sure I just don't play around with this ribbon too much. But I really think it's really sharp looking, okay? So I just want you to see the difference of what you have to do if you sit there and you decide to wrap it around the back. You're going to have to put something behind it, right? So I'm just going to put this here. And that's how quick and easy it is to make a ribbon. Now let me go, I can already see the other end's going to start fraying. And I'm going to correct that in just a moment. As long as I don't create my own fraying. Right? So if you ever see me at retreats and all, it's not uncommon to take a ribbon, right, and for me to fray it. Okay, see how I like that? And you see how you can see just a little bit where the tearing tape or the joint is, but I'm not going to worry about that, okay? Because basically we have a card now that all it lacks is a tag, right? And I've already cut out. We can do it. I've already cut mine out. Like, at least done it partially, right? So again, I would just trim it best you can and don't mess with it. Alright, till you get it in the mail to the person. Alright, so I have these here that we've already cut out, and we're going to add it just right over here. And I actually brought some additional twine, because twine goes good with this. You'll have to let me know what you like the best. I'm not using brown. This is early espresso, but this is old olive. So old olive is one of the colors that they have right on there. So I thought that would look really nice. Yeah, see how nice that looks? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this punch, and I like this. This is just a small hole punch. And we can come around the center here and stamp it, right? So actually making the card yourself isn't going to take that long to do it. It's more the time of actually stamping, right? And we're going to put this up here in a little bow. So if you want to know, so it takes about, my friend Pat Hoover and I have decided it takes about 8 inches, right? If you're having to do this live, or if you got fat fingers, right? It's like, so there you go. So let's go up here. So we're just going to tie this here, and I'm going to take it, and we're going to tie a bow. And then we're going to stamp a Christmas tree on here. Or what I was really going to do is I actually have these words that'll fit in a Christmas tree on the stamp set, right? But I'm just going to stamp in here. It says, from our house to yours. Okay, I'm going to work on that just a little bit. There we go. Yeah, it's just, let's see here. Talking to you, let's see. So yeah, we're just going to make the little bow. But see, so everything blends, right? Because you figure I got the shaded spruce with the gold trim here. And then we have this one real small here. This is twine. Which I do like making. They make cute little bows, right? Alright, see how tiny, and it just makes it cute. So we're going to put that up here, but we're also going to stamp a tree on here. So we have choices. We can either stamp a tree or we stamp the words. And let me show you the difference. Ooh, my tree is on my block already. So my tree, if I stamp my tree, it's going to be this tall. Okay, so I'm going to save it actually for the next one. I just couldn't punch the hole there, right? So, and we don't have to punch a hole. But figure here is we've got from our house to yours. And we're going to stamp that on here. And I figured what we could do also, I was going to stamp this in Cherry Cobbler. Or not. So let's just go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and stamp this right here. I think I'm going to stamp it in the green. Let's go ahead and do it with the green because I'll leave my options open. What this has also is ornaments, right? So I'm going to stamp this. Put this aside. I'm going to stamp from our house to yours. Right here. And then I was thinking, and I already thought about this earlier, so we're going to do it in this. And we're going to stamp the ornaments in red. But think about how nice it would also be, just as well, just that they're stamped the ornaments in gold, right? Now, I don't know about you, I do like gold embossing, but I don't always have time, right? So if I'm going to make 100 cards, I may not have time to do that for everybody, but I can do it for a few people, right? So this is, we're just going to stamp some ornaments on here, right? I'm going to put this here as well at the top because I can, right? We do everything because we can. And there you go. So I've added some Christmas ornaments, right? And I can get inspired because we already have we already have our gift wrapped present, right? So we celebrated our birthdays over the weekend, but when our granddaughter was here, I showed her that she already has the first Christmas gift that'll go into the tree because we got it. We saw something we knew she'd like. It's not on her Christmas list because we don't have a Christmas list yet from people, but she does have the first present. So see, I didn't use the exact color, right? And you can put this any way you want. I think I'm just going to tilt mine a little bit. You can do it any way you want, right? And the thing is, we've got gold sparkle we could put on in here as well. But there you go. We just have a quick and simple card. Now, when you go into the inside, you know, you're going to have to use white. So today, I was just going to go ahead and stamp something on the inside. I don't always do this. I usually get you to the outside first. Because we are going to do a shaker card. If it wasn't for my friend showing me something she did, I thought, you know what? We really should see about quick and simple a little bit more frequently, right? Because there's many times we need quick and simple. Now the thing is, I am going to stamp this tree right over here because I can, right? And I am going to do it in the green, except I'm going to do the stamp off, right? So it's not going to look exactly like the front of the card, but it's going to be a stamped off version. So I do have a piece of white paper over here that you can't see. And I'm trying to think how I can easily, I'll just take this smaller one. All right, so if you're not sure, right? If you're not sure, just get a piece of white paper. There's your stamp, and here's your stamp off. All right? Just to give you an idea in case you want to know. Okay? So I'm going to use the second stamp off. So what you need is just need your handy paper, right? So I'm going to go here, and then I'm just going to come over here. Right? And so you can still have room to put your sentiment, right? And you can sit there and put some little presents. I did do some little presents, and you'll see them in a minute. But I just want to show you that's just how easy it is to dress up the inside from my house to yours. And they open it up, and that's just a very simple, easy card. All right? So let's go ahead and finish this one up here. And we're going to put this down. So I'm just going to put this down right. I'm going to put mine down with glue. Since I've got this right here on the back like this, I'm just going to use glue. Right? So I'm just going to take this here. Yeah, I think I am anyway, right? Okay, yeah, we're going to just take the glue here. Or just put it on. We put a little bit right there too, right? This is taped down. I just want to make sure when I go and put this onto the card, front of the card, right, it's going to all stick down. That's the main thing, right? So we're just going to put glue all around it. Okay. Set that aside there. Now I'm going to come up here. So I used the white that I was going to on the inside already, so we're not going to do that right now. But we're going to put this down. And you slide that just a little bit, right? So glue allows me to slide a little bit without me having to peel it off. Okay. So we're going to do the same thing, except on this one, I am going to stamp the tree on here. Okay? Just to give you different ways that you can do it. I can still put ribbon on here. It's just going to be done differently if I want to put some additional twine like I did the other one. And this one I'm actually going to stamp the color of it, right? Okay. And you know, if you don't want to put a sentiment on the outside, you don't have to, right? It's your choice. It's up to you. It's your card. So I'm going to put this up here right here, and I've got some bling. So we're going to use some bling here. Because I really do like the bling. Right? I like it all. That's the thing, right? We like it all. I just don't like necessarily cranking out the same thing over and over and over. I like to give you different options and choices, right? Because that's what it's about. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And I'm thinking, so I brought some other twine, so we had some options. And you could easily put a sentiment right over here if you wanted to as well. Let's see, I brought some other options because I like to give you options. I like to give myself options. So I thought it would be nice. I don't think it's going to show up though, is the deal. So this one here is gold and white. So the only thing is I'm not sure that it's really going to show up that well. But it's still got gold, right? So we still got gold there. I think it'll show up a little bit. I don't think it's going to show up as nice as I would like. But it's okay. Let's see how it looks. And then I've also got some gold stars left over that from last week when I made a bunch of gold stars. And you see this one worked really well and easy for me there. So we could easily put this right up here at the tree and trim it down. Or we could put it down here. So my original goal is going to put it down here and go put it on with a glue dot. And the reason is I can still leave the option for me to put a gold star on top since I did so many gold stars last week. And I'm just going to actually just use my fingernail here to roll that up. Because I want to roll it up, right? I don't want it like stick everything else. So I'm just going to roll it up and put it right behind the bow. And I'm just going to put it right down here at the bottom. And just mess my bow up just a little bit. Okay. Yep, I'm going to put it down right here. Okay, and then I'm just going to pick up that gold, from both the twine and the ribbon, by adding a gold star to the top. So we had, like I said, last week, we had plenty of gold stars. I put a bunch of them in here for our next one. We can come back and add some things if we wanted to. But I'm just going to put this up here, all right? It's just going to make my star a little shine a little bit there. Put it there and help pick up all the gold. And yes, there we go. Okay, just put that right there. Right, your star could be a different color. It doesn't have to be this color, right? I think the cherry cobbler's there. So I did bring some cherry cobbler as well too. All right, so we're going to set that aside right now for the moment. Okay, and we're going to need to add some more gold. So I'm not going to add any more gold or anything else at the moment. Let's go ahead and go to our shaker card, and then we'll come back and add some more, whatever color we want after I clean this stamp here, because we'll most likely use this again. So let me get that going. There we go. All right. Okay, so here is the shaker card. And then we can come back and see if we want to add, like I said, more gold trim or anything. I brought plenty of my leftover scraps of white, right, for sentiments. But I'm going to make the shaker card too. Now, I will tell you, I did sit there and stamp. They have present stamps here in the stamp set. Okay, so what I did is I did stamp some on regular white cardstock, but I stamped some here as well so you can see how this looks. They have the dies for it, or you can fussy cut. But I don't know about you, but I know our Christmas wrapping paper generally is not a solid color, right? We always have a variety of our favorite characters. We have someone that's, their thing is penguins, so a lot of their stuff gets wrapped in penguin paper. But you can see I've got some of these different here, then we'll see what we like out of this. Alright, so we're going to build this here. And I saved everything. So here's what I was telling you. See how we emboss that? Just to give it a raised look. Okay. And then I actually went ahead and die cut this, and you'll see the sample that I'm telling you about that we can go and create something with it as well too. So what I'm going to do is I really wanted to be able to see the Christmas tree, right? So if I go and put this back here, the Christmas tree is going to be a little dark, right? A little bit darker than I wanted. But because this is sort of, so if you want to sort of see the lay of the land and how it's going to look, let's go ahead and we'll do that for you right here. Right, it helps, so it's like, it's no different than you do sewing, quilting, or anything else, right? I get out my different colors and I look to see what I like with the paper I'm going to be working with. So this is what I decided I wanted to, the color scheme I wanted with the paper I was working with, okay? So this is the color scheme. It's going to go like this. Everything else was darker, so especially if I'm going to use this cherry cobbler on top. But I wanted to see the Christmas tree, and I wanted it in shaded spruce, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line these two up. It doesn't matter because the bottom line is, right, first I'm going to go ahead and stamp my tree, and then we're going to trim these off. We're just going to use our paper snips to trim it off, but I want to get my tree right there in the center. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to leave it right there. I was debating whether I wanted a post-it note or not, but I'm going to let it be for the moment. If I need to, I can always redo, right, on the back side. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to come right here. See how it all lines up? And I'm just going to stamp. And that's what I wanted. I wanted my Christmas tree right there in the center. You know, if you're concerned that you can't stamp it like that, just get a post-it note to hold it down. You could use even just tack it with some, right? You could tack it either with just some glue. I'm thinking of a glue stick, you know, anything that you need to tack it down just to keep it in place for you while you work with it, if that's what you need. In this particular case, it worked just fine. If not, I would have flipped it over. But I'm just going to go ahead and use this here to snip around the corners, because I'm not interested in seeing that, okay? So I'm going to go like this here and just trim it all off. But what I am going to do, right, let's see here, just make sure I didn't, if I shift it. Yep, so I did shift a little bit, right? So if you're concerned about that, just like I said, just tack it down. And I'm just going to come here. I'm going to curve these right here so the white won't like show like that. And we're going to do the same thing here. Now that's just for here. I was not worried about tacking that down on there, right? Because what we're going to do with this here is we have the tree here. So this tree, this is going to be a shaker card, right? So this tree is going to fit right perfectly over here. So all I'm going to do is I usually use about 1/8 of a teaspoon. Last week I used a little bit more because I was making it in an ornament, right? So I'm just gonna take a pinch here. That'll be about 1/8 of a teaspoon. A pinch of salt, right? Okay, and then we're just gonna take this here. And so it's right. We've got adhesive on both sides, so we're gonna take the one off of this side here. So this is different, right? Last week I made an Christmas ornament using these. And actually putting them together back to back. And today we're just going to make our shaker card, okay? So I'm just going to make sure everything's lined up right there. And I'm just going to make sure everything's pressed down good, okay? That's all I'm going to do, because when this shakes, you don't want any of this stuff flying out. I've already been there, done that. Yes, I know how that works. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this off right here and get the other color put on. That we're going to have over the top. And then if I need to make any adjustments, I can, right? So I'm just going to put this right here and see how that fits over just nicely. And we're just going to, there you go. So we've got the shaker portion of our card ready to go, right? Okay, so I can trim this little piece right here. So that was the only thing I wasn't sure if I was going to need to do that or not. All right, so then I'm going to turn around and put this here. Now, you know what? If you wanted, you could put this on dimensionals. And if you're not sure if you do or don't, then just take your dimensionals and put them right behind here to see if you like the height. Now, see, that looks just fine. I like that, right? So let's do that. We'll go ahead and put it on dimensionals. Let me get this centered up here up front first. So I'm just going to put this on. Some glue. Doesn't matter, right? So whatever I have handy. I have my Stampin' seal handy too. I'm just going to center it here, right? And then just go with the mandrels right behind here. You can wrap ribbon around here if you wanted. If I'm going to wrap ribbon, I need to leave room to wrap ribbon, right? I'm not sure that I was going to like that. Originally, I thought I would like some ribbon here. And so if you want to see what that would look like, I'll show you. It's just because I like this ribbon, right? But I just don't think it does anything for it, right? The other option is that you could take it, if I'd left it on the panel there, I could have taken it here and wrapped it around, which I still could make it look like a present, which we sort of did that last week, right? So if you wanted it to look like a gift, you could do it just like that. Now, I like that, right? I like that, so let's do that. We're going to just come and center it. So yes, your ribbon's going to be on the inside of the card, but it's okay. It just adds decoration to the inside of it, right? One thing is when you create your way. That's what I love, right? You can create your way. It's your creation. And we all create differently. We all like things differently. And nobody's going to see the inside of this, so I'm not worried about that, okay? So don't sweat the small stuff, because that definitely is small stuff. Definitely doesn't matter if the ribbon frays or not, because it's going to be hidden, right? And nobody's going to be causing it to do it any further than that. All right, so we're just going to put this down right here. You just have to make sure you cover the space right. Let's see what it looks like on the back side. So see, I just got pretty ribbon that looks like a package on the inside, right? And we're just going to put this right up here. Now, if you want to move it around a little bit, you can. So I want to move this one just a smidgen, right there. All right, and I think I got it just the way I want it. And then I can sort of turn around and I can add ribbon, sentiment, whatever I want to do here. But I've got my shaker card, right? So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to put my shaker card right there. And I'm going to center it. See how nice that is? All right, so the only thing I'm going to do then is I am going to add my sentiment. And I did bring some presents too. I don't know, you would have to tell me if you like the idea of presents down there or not. I'm not sure that I do. So when I sat there and cut these, I shouldn't say that, I did die cut. I did die cut and I did stamp. They didn't come out as straight as I can normally do. So I would just use my scissors to trim that off, right? So again, I'm not going to sweat the small stuff. That to me, that's small stuff. All right, I'm going to put this on top because I just think it looks nice, right, to have a star on the tree. And we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to stamp this Oh Christmas Tree because I really like that, right? It's all what our personal preference is. And I'm going to stamp Oh Christmas Tree. I think it just looks nice. You'll have to tell me if you like the presents or not. I'm not sure that it does enough for me one way or the other. I think I would like the ones I did a minute ago where I stamped it on the paper here. We can see if we like that better. Or if we just say, you know what, just forget it. We're not really interested in it one way or the other. Right? Because we don't have to be. That's what it's all about, right? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp this in the cherry cobbler, right? Because I got a lot of green on there already. The other option would be is you could do gold, right? And I wasn't really interested in doing gold today because I've already been doing a lot of gold. Yes, for the, we're doing a lot of gold for the card club this month because of the paper we're using. See, it's just real pretty the way it is. Just simple. I'll clean that in a minute when we get through. And then I'm just going to sort of trim it up a little bit, right? So we can just sort of do this at a little bit of an angle. Right, just give it a little bit of a finished look on that end. And we do the same thing here. And then we can turn around and trim it up even more so if we want to. So that's what I'm going to do. Oops. Okay, let's see how that looks. So one of the things I really like doing is just putting it like down here on the bottom and popping it up. Which I've done that on the other one too. So let's do that. I'm going to trim it down just a little bit more. So it'll squeeze right in there. And now I'll have my old Christmas tree, right? And we can add some more bling. So I'm just trying to get it in that one little spot right there, right? So it'll just come like right there. Okay, so I'll put that on dimensionals. I'm just going to use the mini dimensionals for this one. Because I can, right? Yeah, they don't come this way. They come this way in kits and paper pumpkin. But you know what? You still use them. Use them up. Because we always have plenty left over. Alright, so we're going to put this on here. Okay, there we go. And I'm just going to put it right here. Yep, it'll fit right there. And if I want to trim it off a little bit more, you can, because I've left us enough room. Alright, so see how that does really nice right there? Again, like I said, I would trim it just a little bit here. Right? Because I can. I don't want to cut the O off, right? But if I cut the O off, then I get the opportunity to take this off and... Well, darn. Let's see if I can do it better this way. Right? Some days we can do things one way better than the others. Okay, there we go. Alright, so see, I just was trying to get it to fit right in there a little bit more. You can easily add a bow just like we did a while ago. And we could just as easily tuck a few presents in here if we wanted, right? So I wouldn't mind tucking presents if we have it up a little bit like that. I do have some green ones as well. So we could put some green ones here, and I got a green one here as well too. I think would be a nice little accent. So let's do that. And I'll go ahead and pick one off of what I did with the other. That's all I'm gonna do is I just snip around, right? So if you sit there and you can't stamp straight, like for whatever reason I could not stamp straight today, I just flipped it over, right, and redid it. So what I would do is we're gonna do that. And let me cut one off too out of the paper here that we just was showing you. So we can see how we like it, just to show you an idea. So this actually matches the paper exactly, right? Because I just took the leftover pieces, but it all matches anyway, right? Because it's all from the same designer series paper, right? So now the only thing is, if you don't get right there on the edge, you'll have a little bit of it showing over. But that's okay. I'm not going to even judge, because I know what it looks like when I wrap my Christmas presents. And for me, it's all about just getting it on, right? Getting it on the package. So see what the difference is just by stamping the red on that designer series paper, how it gives it a nice little look like that. So I'm going to sit there and put that on with small dimensional. Because this is how it looks like, right? This is how it looks like if your house is like my house. So, I mean, some people do all of their gifts in a solid color. We do not, right? So let me go ahead and get we might mix it up too, right? So it just depends on the person who we're gifting to. That's what it's all about. Get the I did green. Where's my green one? There we go. So again, right? So as my daughter says, her boyfriend is very meticulous and does a very amazing job wrapping his Christmas presents. I am not quite as meticulous as he is at all, by any means. Not at all. I mean, I'm not even close. And you see the difference between the green and this here. It's just, it gives a different look, right? So, I mean, when we sit there and do our Christmas presents, we sit there and I just make sure... I shouldn't say that, because when it comes to the grandkids, everybody knows it's from Nana, because I have Mickey Mouse everywhere, right? So, yeah. So, I can't say that. But, you know, whatever. The other people, not necessarily. And now I'm just going to put on the dimensional. So, let's see how I did that one, just a little bit of a slant. And I just tucked it under there, so that would be there. And this one I can put right here. Now, you could easily put these other presents with it. If I did, I would just try to do it just like I would my own Christmas tree, right? So if I did this in my own Christmas tree, this would most probably be back behind here, right? Because I have somebody that's going to come and count presents under the pretense of arranging presents under the Christmas tree. It's always sort of interesting. They do that, and then they can tell you, well, so-and-so has how many presents under the tree, right? I don't know if you have anybody like that or not. Let me know. I know I'm not the only family that does have somebody like that. But I'll let them rearrange and they can tell me whatever they want to tell me. I already have a list of how many presents I'm supposed to give for everybody. All right, so I've tucked some presents in here. I've got my Christmas tree in here with my star and my sentiment, and it's ready to go, right? So there you go. This is just a shaker card, right? And we have the white here to put on the inside, which again, you can put presents in here just as easily. And I also brought some, let me show you something else, right? Because it's all about time. And then we're going to wrap up here. I still need to put some bling on there. On some of the others, I'll come back to that. Put this here. What I did do is I really like this here because the fact is I can come back in and I can add stuff easily, right? So this stuff is all Christmassy, so it matches really well. I'm going to show you. I'm not going to use that, but I definitely want to use gifts, right? So my gifts in here are going to look a little different than the one on the outside, but that's okay. I've got other stuff too. Let's try and see what's on this side. Okay, before I lose all those. So those are, those are easy to put in a baggie. This kind of stuff is easy to put in a baggie if you want. Just so they aren't falling all over the place. I've done that. I put this here. Just going to show you because I'm going to go ahead and put at least a couple of these here. And I have one more. I want to at least get 3 on the inside. So the color scheme all goes together, right? And I can put a 3rd one here. So if you compare these to all this here and to what you got out here, it all goes together. I just stamped those, and these I'm just going to sit there and glue on the inside here. And then you're going to put whatever sentiment you want. So these are really nice because, right, I can put them anywhere I want. I could put a giant big present. They do have a giant big present I could have used. I'm just going to put them in here. And so, yes, our tree, our Christmas tree always has, right? We have gifts. 1 minute they're nice and neatly stacked. The next minute it looks like somebody came in and threw a bunch of presents on the tree. And then we get to shuffle it back again, right? So it goes back and forth. All right, so we just have a cute few little presents there with a sentiment. We have our shaker card on the outside where we stamped our presents. We also stamped it on some DSP that coordinates with this. See how nice that is? And this one's ready to go. So I hope you enjoyed that, right? We still have to figure out put some bling here, and I'll get that finished up and post it out there. And this one here might put a little bling on here as well too. But these are just quick and easy cards, right? You can easily make 10 cards in 10 minutes, right? Just have it ready to go. All you gotta do is glue, stamp, and you are done, right? The shaker card's gonna take a little bit more time. We did more detail here, so that makes a huge difference in the amount of time. So I hope you enjoyed that, right? Because it's all about creating, sharing, and giving. And it's definitely the time of year where we do a lot of giving, right? And sharing. So be blessed. Have an amazing week. And I want to thank you for supporting us not only here on Facebook, but also on YouTube and Instagram. And with that, we'll be starting with something different next week, so you'll just have to stay tuned, see if I can give you a sneak peek or not. And don't forget, our special ends Friday. So if you're a person that likes a bargain deal, for $35, you can get $125 in product and get 20% discount on all your purchases through at least the end of March. If you want to be a hobby demonstrator and that's all you want to do and take advantage of the bargains, go for it. At that time, the end of April, you just roll over to being a customer again, all right? I'd love to have you join us and join our team because we're having a welcome party on the 9th of November. Whoop, whoop. So, be blessed. See you next week with Keep It Simple or Stampin' Up. Keep It Simple or Stampin' Up. That's right, here on Adventure Stamping. Bye.